I guess this is bring your kind of inexperience, Rocky, of not knowing HBCUs, man. You could throw those records out the door, man. It's gonna be a battle to the end. For some reason, it's always like that. It ain't never just one team. Could be struggling the whole year and come in the game and just play lights out. So it don't surprise me that it was that close. And my hat go off to both coaches. They both had the team ready to go, and they put a good show on. How many fans, Coach?
56,000 showed up.
56,000.
Hey, man, they still go. 56,000 came down there to Orlando and showed up and showed out.
Wow.
People.
That's tradition.
Hey, man, that and that's the great thing about it, man. When a classmate of mine, Eric Butler, a lot of FAMU people know it's my freshman brother, and he took him. He made a post. There's a difference between the homecoming crowd, Coach, and the classic crowd. The classic crowd, that's your folks. That's your people that just love to be around the Black college experience. They might have never set foot on those two campuses, might not never been in those cities, but they are there to show up and show out. So, man, just to see all the people come and to still, once again, support those schools, man. And like I say, to see all the extracurriculars, man, is always beautiful. I haven't been down there. I was telling a friend, I haven't been down since the game when it first moved to Orlando. So, again, I think next year I'm going to have to go and make it down there.
Outstanding.
Okay.
So let's go to this last one, the Soul Bowl. It was a soul beatdown. It was I guess you can throw the record.
You can't throw the records out on this one.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. Yeah, Jackson State is a juggernaut, guys. You said it very early in the season, Coach Cole. Regardless of whether we wanted to acknowledge it or not, I think to be honest with you, Coach Campbell was slow to the party. I kind of got on board just understanding that they were a dominant run team and they were going to use that running game to, all the way to dominating the SWAC. Mr. Campbell was slow to the party, but they are who they are. And again, they ran for over 300 yards against.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm slow to the party, and I was the only one that said I had them 1 and 1A. You two guys didn't even pick them. I did. So ain't nobody. So see, this is what I'm saying, man. Listen, we don't do alternative facts on the HBCU Coaches Corner. You guys had Alabama State. Both of you guys.
You picked Jackson State to win it.
What I said was.
No, that ain't what he did.
No. Hey, pull the tape. I said I have FAMU and Jackson State 1 and 1A. That's exactly what I said. And I said I said that they were better than everybody else in the SWAC. So I was not slow. What I said was, so not to misquote it, we were talking about all-time great teams. That's what I was talking about, not this particular season. They are the best team this season. That is not even close. Hey, man, listen, I'm going to give them credit. But what I will say is, I'm going to tell you this, what I think. They took that loss last year in the vet personal. And they came down I-20 and it made that little side road exit, Coach. You know what I'm talking about? And got stuck on that little one lane and say, listen, we coming out here with this W. And I think that had a lot to do with it because, man, listen, everybody, if you are from Mississippi, you know what this game means. You know what people are going to say. And I'm going to say the one thing about that Alcorn bunch. That Alcorn bunch is a proud bunch. They are a proud bunch. And when you come down that reservation, they're going to be loud. They're going to be ready to go. And Jackson State said, y'all going to be quiet today. So, hey, man, 48-10, the Jackson State, just a quick, stats. Jacoby Morgan, hey, man, game manager of the year. Got to give it to him once again. 12 of 20, 211 yards, 2 touchdowns. Herb Mulligan, my player of the year for the SWAC, 14 carries, 105 yards, 2 touchdowns. Hey, Jonas Fortillon, they call him SWAC T. I call him Jackson State Chris Burkett 2.0 for all the real people that know Jackson State football. 4 receptions, 91 yards, 1 TD. Isaiah Spencer had a TD. Hey, man, just a well-rounded victory. Again, Alcorn only 10.7 in the first half, 3 in the second half. And I think this broke that streak where Jackson State didn't let anybody score in the second half. So, and they only gave up 3 because I think they had, went 3 or 4 games where nobody scored in the second half. So this team is ready, man. This team is locked and loaded. They've got Southern coming to the vet. And, man, Jackson State say, hey, man, we want to see y'all in Atlanta in a few weeks.
Now, Coach, you went all the way back to Chris Burkett.
Hey, man, because I know, see, Coach, listen, Coach, let me say something. See,
he can
like a lot of these,
play, Coach.
Hey, listen, he could play. And that's why I say to these people that say they want that, and these folks didn't come into Deion Kane. I know Jack State football.
But these NFL players you talking about too, Coach. When me and you go way back, they these NFL players.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, swag T.O. No, man, you got to know that history, man. That boy looks like Chris Burkett. Actually, a guy that played at Jackson State. How about you learn your history, youngsters?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Come on, man. So I had to give it to him, Coach. So, no. Hey,
quick reference. Chris Burkett or Jimmy Smith?
No. Jimmy, listen, let me tell you something. Listen, me and Jimmy grew up together, okay? I played football. Fun fact. Hey, this is not it, Coach. You want to hear this?
I played against Burkett.
Yeah, you did.
Jimmy,
yeah, you did.
Yeah,
Jimmy and I played with each other all the way through the 8th grade. Safety. When he moved to wine and graduated, I took it right behind him. I stopped growing. Jimmy kept growing. You know what I'm saying?
Coach said they played all the way to the 8th grade.
Through, Coach. I'll call my mother. She'll tell you, Coach.
High school.
Hey, listen, man. Hey, Holy Family Catholic. Hey, Jimmy will tell you. St. Joe, Jimmy will tell you. But what I'm saying, Chris Burkett was a taller guy, Rocky. A straight line guy. Jimmy was in that Michael Irvin mode. Yeah. Of a type of receiver. Can get and was football fast. And Jimmy was always, I'll go back to Callaway High School. He was football fast. If you say, hey, let me put the clock on him, he gonna run 4.5. But like I said, you never saw anybody catch him at Callaway, Jackson State, Jacksonville Jaguars.
I wouldn't put him at that wide receiver. I would put him at some of those fast wide receivers playing in the NFL. You know, like a Bruce Earl and those type of guys. You know, Michael Irvin is kind of a big target. You know, but Jimmy was. Whew,
he's talking about Fertillion. Yeah. He's talking about.
They were calling Fertillion the swag TO, Coach, and I was trying to give them a Jackson State reference.
Oh, okay.
To say that the kid was more like Chris Burkett, who actually played at Jackson State.
He was real deal.
Yeah.
But Burkett played for? Did he play for the Browns or
played for Buffalo? Didn't he, Coach?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go on. Let's go on to this where we can preview a few games. We only got a couple, and then we can start talking about the bad news people got today or yesterday. Now this game ain't nothing on the line. Playing for pride. I'll let Campbell go ahead and tell me what got to happen in this game.
Hey man, I'm gonna tell you this is simple. Fam, you got to win this game. Point blank. Period. And this was the dangerous game that I thought, and this game is even more dangerous because it's sitting at the end of the season. FAMU usually ends their season with the Florida Classic. Now, the kids are going to be out of school. You know, a lot of people's Thanksgiving weekend. I don't know if the man is going to be there. I'm hoping that the man is going to be there. But this is what I think Coach Colsey really shows that, hey, we have turned the page and we're getting ready for next season. So, listen, Coach Cole said it best. Alabama A&M can score. We've struggled all year to score over 21 points. We played this past week, we scored 41. To win this game, Coach, we got to get 35.
At least.
I think that's the number. We got to get 35, and we cannot have the breakdowns. I think if we get, but Coach, and you know this very well, in a game like this at home, you got to get up first. You got to get up first.
Both teams deep in struggle stopping the run, you know, and they got a hell of a tailback in Donovan Eagle with A&M. Yep. He's a beast, you know, and they got quarterback. They got some wide outs and they can get open. They gonna always play the number game. Whatever you got on top, whether you got two high safeties on top, they gonna throw it. If you got one safety on the bottom, they gonna run the ball. They gonna throw it, Coach. They gonna spread you out, and they gonna throw the football, man. And the quarterback Cornelius Brown is 6'5", 225 pounds. He can make every throw. He can throw it off his back foot, side foot, every throw, And then they'll bring in Xavier Lanford, the backup quarterback. Then they really get into the pounding ground game. So it's going to be a good one.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, I think this is going to be an entertaining game, but this is a game, I just be honest with you, for the Rattler Nation, a lot of people are going to be on pins and needles until this game is over with a Rattler victory, to be honest with you. Because here's the thing, Rock, I will say this. We talked about it. Coach Cozy, he wins this, he finishes 7-5. He finishes 7-5, and he can go in and say, hey, on a 2-game win streak and be ready to go. So, like I say, Coach Cozy, we believe in you. We think the team, and Coach and D. Rich, I think is going to pull it out, and I think Gas is going to have a big game.
Yeah. All right, man. Got the playoff. The Big Blue just got to go up there, man. And I've been to one of those playoff games. It's big time. They treat you real good. But when that buzzer go off, you got to be ready to play. When I was at Tennessee State, we played Appalachian State, which everybody know about Appalachian State, great program. And then we played North Carolina A&T. But I had my first quarterback tore his knee up, and then in the game in the first quarter, the second quarterback dislocated his shoulder. So we weren't able to finish up the game, and we only had 3 quarterbacks. So the freshman came in and he shitted out. He pissed all over himself. So it made it tough for us to win our first playoff game. But, Tennessee State got his work cut out for him. So the other one?
So, Coach, Montana Grizzlies. This, I always find this real interesting when I hear these arguments about when the HBCU and where we stand in a hierarchy in FCS, right?
I mean, I think this is a chance.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. All right. I didn't know if Rocky was saying something. But, Coach, the thing about it, you got to understand something. This is the University of Montana. This is the flagship school of a state.
Yeah.
So again, when you look at it and you see they're playing a state flagship school versus Tennessee State, there's a lot of imbalance there. But the one thing about it is, and Coach, and we know this, resource-wise and things like that. But I will give Tennessee State credit that they didn't get the last seed. They clearly had a respect from the committee. Because they're playing, I think Montana's the 14th seed, so they're not playing, playing all the way up to the 8th or 9th seed. So I think, again, people respect a little bit of who and what Tennessee State is.
Yeah. You still with us, Rocky?
Rocky looked like he froze. Maybe that cigar got him, Coach.
Yeah. I think, and I didn't make slides for the
Rocky, breaking up. We can barely hear you. Your screen is frozen. You might have to jump back in and jump back out.
Oh, okay. Rocky, hey, look, he must have done something wrong. They put him out in the garage.
Listen, Coach, when they put you out in the garage, things give something going on good in that kitchen. So that's a good thing. Well, Coach, let me ask you this question while Rocky is getting reset. You have played in these games against the PWIs and things like that, and we've talked about this ad nauseum. Again, when you are, does it ring in the back of your head that you are a HBCU playing a PWI, or is it just simply football? Or because fans, we make a big deal out of this. Oh, they're playing white PWI, and we're a little HBCU. Or is it just really it comes down to just being football?
Well, it's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of both, because on the facility side and on the support side, they have more. You know what I mean? There's more. And then when you're playing these good PWI teams, you can see that. You can see how they dress. You can see, they got 20 coaches down the side. They got 20 trainers. They got media going. They got fanfare going. So it's a little different. it's a little different. But at Tennessee State, you actually play them every week, so you really become them. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to being at an HBCU school outside the conference. So when you play them, it is a nuance of okay, hey, we got to have our A game on, and and I had both experiences as a player. They used to whoop our ass, and then as a coach, where I could make a difference. I used to whoop their ass. So because I understood the dynamic of the game. But there is a difference. It's in the air. If you play them at their place, of course, don't nobody hardly show up. And of course, when you play at our place, they really come see the band.
Right.
And then sometimes when they making deals, they make a deal that you have to bring your band. They'll pay you to bring your band there. And then they know when you bring your band, they'll get more people to the game.
Now, Coach, me and you could talk about this. The SWAC has never won a playoff game. Tennessee State has won one. Tennessee has won, let's say that, because I don't have statistics. FAMU has won. South Carolina State has won. And I believe North Carolina A&T has won a playoff game. Why do you think it is so hard for HBCUs to perform in the playoffs?
Well, I don't think it's that. I think it's about competition. That you're playing. Are you prepared? Most HBCUs are in hot climates, and it gets late in the year. You know what I mean? Nutrition is one. That probably plays a role. Support staff plays a role. And then most of the time you're going for that hot climate, they're playing somebody up in a cold climate. That plays a part. Preparation plays a part. Because now you got to stay, like now the kids are going into the playoff, now they got to stay. And then everybody is scrambling around because nobody's prepared and our kids are not eating well and where they going to stay and all that kind of thing. Where they don't have that problem and that issue. They already prepared for those times and all that kind of stuff. So it's a lot of outside things that go on, just let alone, when it start coming down to the coach and all the kids prepared and stuff, because you fight through stuff. And then just going through the whole year of some of the administrative things that you got to go through as a head coach at an HBCU school.
Coach, it used to be a big joke when Jack State would win the conference every year and they would go to the playoffs. And we're talking about teams that had first rounders, multiple NFL players, and they play again. And I think what people don't understand, the Boise States, the Louisiana Techs, the Georgia Southerns, and schools like that didn't even have
that are now all 1A.
All 1A, right. And it used to be the joke is that after Jack State played Alcorn, they were like, we don't need to play anybody else. We ready to go to the NFL. Why are we playing this game against a team we never heard of? And you would be so disappointed because you would look at the players that they would have on Jackson State's team, or in Grambling, same way. You would look at these guys that were going to the NFL, and then you would see them play Louisiana Tech or Georgia Southern, and you're just like, how did they lose to them? Right. But I think a lot of what you said has to do with that and everything. And I think that's one of the big challenges now, especially now, the financial strain and disbursement is starting to really come into play. Back then, it wasn't as big of a gap. These guys didn't, like I say, Boise was a junior college back then, basically, when they had come up and Jack State had to play them and all those guys. So I just thought that was just interesting because I hear this argument or discussion a lot about why can't we beat PWIs, where again, a lot of MEAC teams are showing that you can, to your point, Coach. They're showing it. Right. Eddie George, like you said, plays them, shows that they can be beaten. So again, I think that for us and me as just a huge fan of HBCU football, I really, Coach, and I'm saying that I don't know if this is one of our best chances again, but to your point, I know Tennessee State won't be intimidated, to your point.
Well, one of the things is Miles College already made a run in the playoffs. They beat them. I think this year, if we go back this year, I think HBCUs have beat more PWI schools than probably ever before.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I really think that. You know, Central beat some, Norfolk beat one. I think. You know, I think a couple schools jumped out and really, you know, took it to some PWI schools. And of course, you can't say enough about Tennessee State. But we ought to look at that. I really think Morgan State won one or two, or Howard or Hampton won one or two. But I know they're in different conferences now, so they got to get their game up and their support up.
Now, Coach, and you know what? Listen, you said something. Now, Coach, once again, HBCU Coaches Corner with Johnnie Cole. Coach, we talked to coaches. We talked to a champion coach, Sam Shade, who beat Carson Newman. You know, let's talk a little bit about that, because we're talking about giving people flowers, and Coach talking about this because Sam Shade is going to be a hot topic for these coaching openings and things like that.
And he should. He should. Not only that, I mean, he's got an outstanding coaching staff. He's got an outstanding pedigree. You know, he's a national championship guy. He played under great coaches, as well as his coaches played under great coaches. You know what I mean? You played for the University of Alabama back in the day and was the leader of that program. So you know what type of man he is, what type of human he is, and that carries over to your team. You know, it's one thing, Campbell, about a coach, a head coach, a championship head coach. A lot of times, that's who they are as people. You know, how they were raised, you know, as people. That carries over to your football team. You know what I mean? What type of character, integrity you have. That carries over to your football team. And, you know, because I've talked to a whole bunch of coaches, and I can get a feel of a guy that I know, you know. Like I know Chennis. You know what I'm saying? I know now Sam Shade, that we had, you know, great conversation and just to hear his philosophy and how he carries himself. You know what I'm saying? You know, Sam Shade is what you call a silent assassin. You know, he's a quiet man, but when he get to talking, you can see, you know, the energy behind it. So, and then that's why, you know, when I'm talking, you know, some people behind closed doors, well, Coach, you shouldn't share all your secrets about, you know, it's about who you are, I think. It ain't, you know, I might tell somebody, oh, well, like we talked to other, I don't like dreads and stuff. You know what I mean? And then one coach said, okay, well, then that's what I'm going to do. But if that ain't what you really believe in, you know, you easy going to get there and you're going to be looking around at great players and be like, no. They can do whatever they want, you know. So I'm getting to the championship coaches are championship people, man.
Now, Coach, Miles is going to be playing Valdosta. I believe they're undefeated. They're number 1 seed, I believe, in that region.
Yeah.
And Tremaine Jackson is a Texas Southern alum, Coach.
No, he's a University of Houston alum. He coached me at Texas Southern.
Oh, he coached at Texas Southern. I'm sorry.
He did play football at Texas Southern, but he ended up finishing at University of Houston.
Okay. Well, we're gonna give him Texas Southern love.
Okay,
so he played, transferred to University of Houston, and then came back and coached at Texas Southern. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We make sure we're accurate here on the coach's corner. But I'm pretty sure he still claims those Tigers. Now the question is, Coach, we've got 2 young black head coaches that a lot of people are saying, hey, this is the next group of guys. Now, Coach, I know we've heard the noise. We love our boy Scotty. He's the celebrity head coach, Celebrity head coach. They come with resources. But, Coach, tell me, why do you think potentially that Tremaine Jackson and a Miles College Sam Shade coach would probably be a better fit for some of these openings that are coming up?
Well, they've been taught under great coaches. You know what I mean? They know the system. Tremaine knows the system. Tremaine was with me everywhere I went. You know, every meeting, how I handle stuff, he was always right there. Sam Shade has a support staff that's good. You know, I can't say enough about George Pugh and the other coaches that he have on his staff he has great support. So, and you know, again, what's on the inside? I've seen Coach Jackson coach his butt off. You know what I mean? He was my defensive line coach. You know, he's very smart, very intelligent man that can get things done. So his success don't surprise me. And he has the support. He's at Valdosta State, one of the best Division II programs in the country, been that way for the last 20 years. So he got things to work with. You know, Sam Shade, they will be ready. You know, they very well coached. They don't have all the support. They don't have all the money, but they got great coaches over there that volunteer. Some of them volunteer their time, ain't making a lot of money, but those are former NFL players, former high school coaches, and former head coaches. So he has a great staff. So I look forward. It's going to be a great game. Because one thing about Miles College, coach, they come downhill, coach. They come downhill, and they solid, and they got some good kids over there.
And coach, they do one thing that I like as a defensive guy that loves. They get guys to turn that ball over. And coach, you know that's all in a playoff game, in a playoff situation. One turnover can win a championship, and that's what I like. That DNA of that Miles College football team is defense and get me the ball.
If they upset Valdosta, it won't fool me none. You know what I'm saying? It will not.
It will not be a surprise to you, coach?
Won't be a surprise at all. I know some things that Miles give up, and maybe Valdosta can exploit those things, and I know they will, or at least try. And so we look forward to that, coach. It's going to be a good one this week.
Now, coach, we talk about the coaches that are having success in HBCU football. Now it's that time to give those guys. Sorry, I can't share my screen and all that kind of stuff. I had to switch devices. But we had two coaches so far that one in the MEAC, one in the SWAC that's been let go. Right? Oh, okay, coach. Well, update me because I only had two of them as of yet.
Central State.
Okay.
Elizabeth City.
Okay.
Lane College.
Okay.
Even though they Division II.
And then we had Norfolk State.
Right.
They let Coach Odom go, and one guy I really hated to see go because I thought he was a good guy. Regardless of what you think of him as a coach, I thought he was a sensational guy, and we had him here. We were able to interview him. But McDowell, PV decided not to. He wasn't fired. His contract just wasn't renewed. So, can I get you guys' thoughts on those two moves by those two institutions?
Go ahead, Campbell.
All right, I'm gonna start with Prairie View. I'm a huge fan of Coach McDowell, but I think what happens is you have expectations. They came in with expectations. I think that fan base, again, my nephew Lionel's out there, they were expecting to be in the West Championship. They felt they had the talent. They made T-shirts. They were ready to go. And I think that team never, and I think also, again, they were never able to get the players that they wanted to get out there to perform and play consistently. And I think, again, I've always said this, a team like Prairie View would, again, even though tradition goes way back and the facilities, Prairie View should be a good team because I know they got a lot of schools that they're competing with, but there are so many football players in Texas. You should be able to get, hey, man, I would be looking at all those guys that make second and third team and, in the Division 3, 4, whatever you guys got down in Texas. Those would be the guys I'd be looking at. Those guys that at University of Texas, Texas A&M that, just don't fit because you're right there. And it's a great school with a great education. They got a lot of similarities to FAMU, to be honest with you, as far as with the state, the academics, the culture, and things like that. But they just need that one coach. And to me, Coach, I said this. I think what Texas, what Prairie View needs is an offensive guy. I think they need a guy that could come in there and just light the scoreboard up with those plays. Hey, listen. See, that was the coach you saw. I set you up. See, that was the setup. That was the setup. So as such as yourself, Coach. that understood. What was your high scoring average when you were coaching?
39-1 and 38-6.
So let me ask you a question. If you
34 at Bama State.
Well, 30, coach, that gets you the SWAC championship every year around here. If that can get done.
Yeah, every year.
You know,
Coach, I was in the championship every year.
Coach, to bring you to, because you were a head coach and played in that, and for lack of a better word, I think Prairie View, the way it is now, it's in that greater Houston area. I know it's not in Houston, but it's 15 miles from Cypress, and everybody who live in Cypress, I know, say they live in Houston. You know?
Sound like those people from Jackson that live talking about from Jackson.
Houston don't grow so much. It's really in the city. Prairie View is almost in the city. It don't grow so much.
My daughter go to Cypress. My daughter's at Prairie View, and I can look at her debit card and see she go to Cypress every day.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But my point is saying is, Coach, it's in that greater Houston area. Problem I see with Prairie View, now this is just from the outside looking in. It's not seen as a football destination for football players, one. And two, this is, I think, more importantly, a problem too. The people in Texas don't have a real connection to the SWAC. And can you kind of flush that out for me? Like you got schools like that were straight ass just 4 or 5 years ago, Tarleton State and Abilene Christian, and now they in the playoffs. I can see where Prairie View can easily come up like that, but for some reason, football players don't see Prairie View as a school to play football.
But Coach, I want to piggyback when you answer this, and then my caveat is they play in Dallas every year in front of 45, 50,000 black people at Dallas Metro that have football players. So that is kind of shocking to me when I can say they don't know they're a football school and they had the biggest classic in that area for the last 60 years. So I just want to put that out there too. So yeah, please help me out with that, Coach.
Well, Rocky don't know what he's talking about.
Oh, okay, thank you. Okay, all right.
They just built a damn pretty stadium, field house where you got to put your hand and your cards in. And let me tell you, you're talking about a good time on campus. It's one of the best, beautifulest campus. And you talking about a good time? Coach, when the recruits come there, you ain't got to leave the campus. You talking about beautiful girls, beautiful campus, stuff going on all the time on campus. Win, lose, or draw. You talking about alumni? You talking about alumni? Prairie, you got some of the best. You talking about engineers, nurses.
Talk about football, Coach.
I'm talking about support. Yeah, guys, Prairie View used to be the Bluebird program of the SWAC, of course, back in the day. And then when they went on that long losing streak, and then with the city moving that way, I think, man, and you got 150 high school, 6A high schools within 100 miles that you could go recruit. Now, why it ain't, I don't know. I would have to say that they ain't putting the right person in there. But, Coach, Prairie View should be, as well as Texas Southern, should be one of the best SWAC teams in the country. They used to be, of course, when players couldn't go. And so now the only downfall is you compete against so many schools in Texas. Texas Tech, Baylor, Texas A&M, Texas, you know what I mean? Albany Christian, the Lone Star schools. You just got to out-recruit them. You got to out-recruit those type of schools to get players in there. And I think Prairie View is a sleeping giant if they get the right person in there.
Well, Coach, let me ask you a question. Rocky can answer this because I've only visited Texas and seen Texas football from afar. So our kid that is at Valley what's his name, Coach? Rembert? Is that the pronunciation?
Yeah, Rembert. Yeah.
Okay. Rembert.
Okay, so think about Rembert. Florida is a football state like Texas, right? You gonna tell me that Prairie View can't find the Remberts of the world because they can't go to none of those schools you named, Coach? But he could be a star in the SWAC.
Oh man.
So you're gonna tell me that Texas doesn't have 22 Remberts?
Shit, they probably got 2,200 of them.
Thank you. So that's what my question is.
You're
not gonna tell me it's not 2,200 Remberts in the state of Texas.
How do you let Andrew Body? How do you let Andrew Body, who finished number 1 or 2 in high school passing, out of Texas? You just don't do it. He damn near was a walk-on at Texas Southern. You just don't. You got to get in there, turn the rock. So you got to make relationships with the University of Texas, Texas A&M. Matter of fact, when I was at Alabama State, I got a guy named McCauley from Texas A&M, transferred to Alabama State, ended up going and playing in the Senior Bowl. How did he pass Texas Southern and Prairie View to come all the way to Alabama State?
That's what I'm seeing. Prairie View, I don't know about Texas Southern, but Prairie View is not seen by kids who are football players in Texas as a serious football school. The same kid that goes to Tarleton for years, that goes to Tarleton and Abilene Christian and went to Sam Houston for years. Coach, you know what kind of program Sam Houston had for years? That same kid should have went to Prairie View and probably would have had a much better experience with a much better degree.
Can I tell y'all this? Let me tell y'all this. What happened to black schools in the 80s when I came to school? PWIs was recruiting. They were taking transfers. In the 90s, PWIs was taking transfers. You see what I'm saying? They were taking transfers. We didn't know the game until L.C. Cole came into the business. Then we started taking transfers at Tennessee State. I'm talking about a team full of them. When we went to Alabama State, guys, I signed 20 junior college players in 2000, the year 2000. 20 junior college players. So on the FCS level, and now remember, Coach, Prairie View had an 8-year 0-88 in the 90s. Who wants to go there?
But Coach, that's 40 years ago, though, Coach. They won 40 championships.
That was just 20 years ago.
Coach, the 90s, Coach, that's 30 years ago.
Okay.
25. Y'all meet your halfway.
So when did they ever go to the championship?
Coach? They have won championships.
Who? Prairie View won 1 conference championship in 2009.
Okay, well, I tell you what, in the last 3 years, they won 2 West.
Right, they won 1 in 2009. And let's be honest, how they won the championship, the last 2. Let's be honest. It was like everybody lost. What did you say earlier when we started the show? Is T.C. Taylor, is he the best of the best, or he's just the best of the worst? Those West Side championships, come on, guys. They were milkshake made. If that's so. But I'm just saying that Prairie View, when you said that, there's some validity to what you said, Rocky, is because they had been losing and lost so much and so long. Sometimes your reputation precedes yourself. And I think, and then guys, I've been in this thing. HBCUs, you get a bad rep of being able to bring somebody in there to do. You don't get no support sometimes for some of these inner city schools from these teachers and stuff. Oh man, don't go to Prairie View, that's a party school. Don't go to Texas Southern, that's the party school. So we get that sometimes. And compared to all the other black schools, except for North Carolina Central, we got a big group of people to compete against. A&M, like I said, Texas Tech, Baylor, Sam Houston. Sam Houston been taking them transfers for a long time. So that's kind of the way I see it. But I think if you get the right person in there, let's talk about the last couple of coaches they had that were winning coaches before they got there. How many?
But a lot of times that job was a starter job. Willie Simmons starter, Coach Dooley started a job, Bubba McDowell started a job. That's the last 3 coaches, right? And who was the guy?
You're exactly saying what I'm saying. Why can't a guy walk in there with championships already on his resume?
Well, that's what they're saying, that they're going to do a national search. That's said.
Oh man, them natural stuff, man. They kill me with them natural. We're gonna do a natural search, and then they hire the real estate guy, you know, or you know what I'm saying? They hired some pro that's 67 years old, like Jackson State did when they hired Harold Jackson. You know what I'm saying?
Well, Coach, this is what I'll say, Coach. Now, this is just what I'll say. I think the formula for winning at Prairie View, and you may not like it or whatever, but I would hire one of those state championship black coaches at
DeSoto,
Mathis, or Samson. Yeah, one of those state championship coaches at Prairie View. And now he probably not gonna win right off the bat because of he got to learn the lay of the land, but it raises the profile of the football at Prairie View. It becomes an extension of the reputation of the state. You understand what I'm saying? And because so many players from Prairie View are not Texas kids for whatever reason, like.
Crazy.
You know what I mean? I don't understand why. Like when you talk about the, Prairie View players, like they should be.
Didn't we just name 3 of the last coaches that were beginning coaches?
Yeah.
They came in there with no system, coach. You know what I mean? What you say? You got to come in and say, man, I got to be good at home. I got to shop at home. I got to be good in my recruiting area. I got Dallas, great football. I got Houston, great football. I got the east of Texas, great football. And it should be.
Well, like, hold up. Let me just say this. This guy said, hell, I'm surprised you did not just hire Coach Cole. Okay, let me say this about Coach. Coach Cole is my cast member on this show or whatever. And his resume speaks for itself. I don't have to keep repeating his goddamn resume. You know he's a championship coach. You know there's no coach that's coaching in HBCU football right now with a better resume than Coach Cole. I don't give a damn if it's at the MEAC, at the SWAC, at Tennessee State. Nobody has as many championships. Nobody's coached more pros. Nobody has done anything on the level that Coach Cole has done it. So when I'm saying this, it's a rhetorical thing. If there's an opening and they're looking for a winning coach, it's rhetorical that Coach Cole is a qualified coach, right? Every time we say somebody's name in the business that is any good, they got a connection to Coach Cole. Coach Cole had influence or touched him some kind of way, or he was part of that, whether it was when Pete Richardson won championship, he was on the staff. When Tennessee State was the only black school to win a all-white conference, he was the OC on those teams. When Alabama State was able to come in and play in their very first SWAC championship, he was on the coaching staff. And when Texas Southern, the only time in modern time, if they ever won a SWAC championship, guess what? Who's the head coach? Coach Cole. So I don't have to keep saying obvious shit. I hope I don't. Y'all are fans of the show. Y'all know who this man is. If we talk about football and there's an opening, of course he's qualified. There is no question about that. And I give him his flowers in person, on his live, and I have me and Coach Campbell had the unique experience of traversing this country following black college football with Coach Cole, and we see the admiration and respect he not only has from the fans, but from the other coaches and administrators in this profession. So we fully understand who we on this show with, right? So for me to keep saying, hey, somebody need to hire Coach Cole, I mean, how many times I gotta say it? I can't hire nobody. If I had a team to hire him, if somebody made me AD and I wanted to keep my job and feed my family, guess who I'm gonna hire? Coach Cole. So I'll leave that right there. So hopefully I'm not trying to slight Coach Cole when I don't obviously mention his name about an opening. I'm just adding more context to the hire search because guess what? The guy at PV know exactly who Coach Cole is. Guess what? There's an interview with him and Coach Cole sitting right next together. Go look at it on the internet. We got the video footage. He interviewed the AD. The AD know exactly who Coach Cole is. It ain't even no secret. And they had a good conversation about everything that was going on in Prairie View. So anyway, I'm done with it. And that's why I didn't say Coach Cole's name, because y'all know good and goddamn well Coach Cole is qualified for any opening in HBCU football and football, period. Let's just put it like that. Go ahead. I hope I didn't. I went on a tirade. I didn't mean to do that.
I appreciate you, Coach. Really, I do. I appreciate both of you guys. And, that's what our show is now. It ain't about me. It's about HBCU. It's about us. So I appreciate that, though, Coach. Shit, you ain't lying.
If I want to keep my job, and this is what I'm saying, if ADs want to keep their job and feed their family, right, and sit back and continue to collect them checks, that's what they'll do. But obviously, they want to do something else. They want to hire a coach every 3 years.
Well, let me do this. And Coach, don't give me no coach speak, okay? I'm gonna ask you a question. I'm an alumnus of PV. I'm a money guy. I'm an AD. I watch the show. People sending me text messages about this Coach Cole. Yeah, you say I know you, I get it. But from right now, I'm the AD of Prairie View. You have watched us. You've seen what we do. What if you were the coach? What would be the first 5 things you would do to get us to be in that SWAC championship game in the next 3 years?
Prairie View A&M?
Prairie View. I'm the AD of Prairie View A&M. I'm interviewing you, Coach. I want to know the 5 things that you see that we need to change or you would do to get. And hey, I'm not saying next year, but next 3 years. Year 3, I need to be there, and I need the game to be at my house.
Right now, I'm on the outside looking in and really hadn't really studied what they have. But first and foremost, I'm cleaning house. I got to hire the best football staff I can hire. I got to make sure that I get some Texas guys, because you always want to be the best in recruiting in your home base, in your home where you live at. Number 2, definitely would have to go evaluate the personnel. Where I need somebody else. Is it O-line? Is it wide receiver? Because you got to put the recruiting piece together right now, because it's recruiting time. I'm going to go out and hire the best strength coach that I find. Our last several strength coaches I've hired, one came from Texas, one came from Baylor, one came from the University of Nebraska. And all 3 of those guys right now, one is up at the Titans, one is at Vanderbilt, and one went to Fresno State as well as University of Texas. Because I got to let my strength coach know that you are the head coach of the strength program. And you run it, and I need reports who's not coming. Number 2, I got to make the kids understand that it's a different time. We don't talk about losing. When a meeting, we got a meeting at 3, you need to be there at 2:45. And if you don't be there at 2:45, then you're going to really know who Coach Cole is and about, and make them understand that nobody in this program is bigger than the team and bigger than Prairie View A&M. I got to be able to bridge the gap between the university and the program. What does that mean? Now I got to set meetings up with the Divine 9. I got to set meetings up with the financial aid department. I got to set meetings up with the administration, and I also make sure I got a relationship between the athletic director and the president. That's real. Then next, I definitely got to get out and meet the Alumni Association. So wherever they are, wherever our biggest alumni association is, and when they have meetings, I got to go there. Houston, if it's in California, if it's in Atlanta. I've done this over and over again. You know what I'm saying? Third, I got to meet with the maintenance department on campus on how the building is ran. I got to meet with my administrative staff from making sure the trash can is emptied every day, making sure that locker room is recruit ready. And the rest is be able to now, let's talk about X's and O's. But I'll make sure the players that we have a standard of how we look, the route we're going, what my expectations, what your expectations of me, what your expectations of my coaching staff. So that's the several things I do. And then, off the back, you got December signing day. As these major schools are recruiting our players, I'm gonna be recruiting their players as well.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It ain't that because they playing for these schools that they're happy playing there. There's some kids that ain't on no NIL, that ain't making no money, that want to come. And then most of all, guys, I got to get in them homes. I got to meet them coaches in Texas. Put my ring on, put my suit on, and every time they see me, that's gonna be the standard. We gonna run things different. Every time they see my coaches, when my coaches go out, they're gonna have a suit coat on. I just believe that that's the route to go. And so when we walk into place, we not looking ragtag. We professional, and we're about winning football games and developing young men to be pillars in their community.
Coach, let me ask you this question, and I've heard this a lot, and I hear it in Florida. I definitely have heard it in Texas. Got a lot of classmates or friends down there. The white football coach that doesn't want his black player, and I'm not talking about the one that's University of Texas A&M. Again, goes back to my point. That's on our level, and won't tell that kid that there's a potential offer or to look at it. How do you fight that? What do you do to get around that guy? Because I think I hear a lot of that going on down in Texas also.
Well, two things. Sadly, there's black coaches that say don't go to HBCUs, number one. Number two, I'll give you an experience. I used to fly out to California. I recruited every junior college in California from the top, all 70 of them. And when I used to come in there with my jacket on, have my ring on. And the coach actually called me a pimp. And he wouldn't give me the top players. So what I do, man, I started going over to the dormitory, waiting on the kids to come in from practice. You know what I mean? And that's how I started. You can't take no for an answer. You know what I'm saying? I've recruited players where I've out-recruited the University of Tennessee. You know what I mean? I've out-recruited UC. I got a player from USC, that was either going to go to USA or UCLA. A guy named Jackson. Matter of fact, his brother, they were twins, played in the pros. So you're gonna run into that. But you gotta sell yourself. When you walk in there, and you gotta know what you talk about. You can't walk in there in your belly and your shirt up and you're seeing your belly and you ain't combed your hair. You gotta come in there and talk the talk and walk the walk. And and I hung out with my brother at the time, at some time. And he was recruiting for New Mexico, University of Nebraska, Toledo. So I just looked at just as clean and talked just as clean as them, And so that's why you got to go recruit those high schools. You might take you a second tier kid to get another kid. You know what I mean? So you got to build those relationships and make people trust you. We love the kids. I don't know why some white coaches don't want their kid to go. I'm not going to say it because, don't go to that black school. He might not want him to go because he don't think he's going to get coached properly. You know what I mean? What is the graduation rate? You know what I'm saying? Are they doing that? So, black schools have gotten a bad mark. They have got a bad mark. That's why when I say that I don't allow dreads, I want them to look professional. When we show up, we ain't coming with our hair all over the place. When we walk in that place, coach, we want to look like we play for the Army or the Navy. We want to look good. And somebody would say, if you look good, you play good, you get paid good. I took that one out of Deion Sanders' book. But the pay good, the back part. But when we walk in place, man, I want people to know that this is Prairie View A&M or Texas Southern or Baluco State, that we professional young men and we come in here to do a job. Not that we're a bunch of wild animals and stuff like that. And we get that. I'm telling you guys, we I still think we can't do what they can do. That's just kind of my thing on that.
Well, Coach, let me ask you one other question because this is always fascinating. How important is it to develop where you see schools where the high school starts to become a feeder school, where you can start going back and getting 1, 2, and 3, 4 guys from a high school. And then it starts to spread into an area. Like you would hear, hey, man, Jackson State's getting a bunch of guys from Atlanta, and these 3, 4 guys played on the same team. And then they tell their buddy that played against the way. The same thing down in FAMU. Hey, these guys played Orlando Jones, 3 or 4 of these guys, and they came to FAMU together. How important is that to also recruit friends? And like you said, you get the one guy, but you got 2 guys. You kind of maybe just to bring everybody together to create that feeder to your school.
See, I've been in the game long enough now that my kids that I've coached are head coaches in places. we got 3 national teams that basically is coached by Black coaches: Duncanville, DeSoto, and Kimmel, right up in Dallas. So I might take me a second tier. I might do a favor for the coach. You know what they're gonna do for me? Next time I come up there, they're gonna say, "Man, this dude, he's a superstar. He don't need to go to Texas. He needs to come down where y'all are, because he needs that hugging." And I know now the NIL has changed a lot of that. But if you really, really care about kids, you'll try to send them in the right direction. So you might take 1 or 2. You know, I like to sign kids, man. I'll be honest. Come from good families, 3.0 student, maybe be a little undersized. I call those program kids. Those kids that might not come in and play right now, but damn it, down the road, they're going to be all-stars, all-Americans. You know what I mean? I had this kid named Rudy Johnson. Matter of fact, his father was my roommate, and the kid came in quiet. I know he came from good stock. He wasn't where he was, right? So I brought him to Texas Southern. And, he would, every time he would get in the game, guys, he would drop back. He would find the backs because he knew he couldn't really throw the ball down the field. So people kind of made jokes. I said, man, I'm telling y'all guys, that kid going to be a great player. Well, he come up, and then I leave, and he stays. And then the next coach come in and didn't really want him there. So he ended up transferring to Winston-Salem. Division II All-American. Took him to the championship. So, I've seen those type of things, man. You get some kids right there in Texas, they ain't got to be the best, but they come from a good program. They come from a good family, man. You just got to recognize all that kind of stuff. You recognize a guy with narrow shoulders. You recognize a guy with knock knees. You recognize a guy with fat ankles. Some of those guys you don't take a chance on. Some of them you do. You got to know the other part of what that make that kid tick.
Now, Coach, I got to do one thing, and this is for my people in the chat. Now, Coach, they love you. The people in the chat love you. But, Coach, they said, listen, you got to have them dreadheads. You got to have them lockheads, Coach. This is
Hey, my name is Danny Wilson, and I won $500 on the lunch break with AJ Jones.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.